In this lecture, we are again going to develop a real-time application which you can use on multiple devices at the same time. Now, if in order to access the colors panel screen, what we need to do, we need to enter here colors, and here also in the password field, we need to enter the same thing. So this is a
Welcome to the color
screen.
screen. You can select the colors here.
Okay, so from this screen we can select the colors. Now let's come on this browser. So this is the second device. You can consider it a second device on which we are going to enter these two login credentials. Family here, and we need to enter family in this password field also. Let's see what is going to happen when we will hit this login button.
Welcome to the font family screen. You can select the font family for your text here.
So as you can see, some font families are getting reflected over here. The options for the font families are getting reflected over here. So we can select the options from this screen. Now let's come on this screen and access the admin panel, or you can say main screen. So for doing the same, we need to enter here this main in this email field and main in this password field also. Let's hit this login button and see what is going to happen.
Welcome to the end screen.
Okay, so as you can see, there are two drop downs which I've defined over here. It's an text box, text area, which is getting reflected over here. And these are four sliders. This slider is going to control the font size. With these three sliders, I'm going to control the red, green, and blue portion of the color of this, the color which is getting reflected in the background of this text area. Now how this app works, that's what we are going to see. So right now there is nothing getting reflected over here in this drop down, neither anything is getting reflected in this drop down. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to select the font family from this screen, and you can see when I will hit this Arial button, let's okay.
Added Arial font successfully to the table.
So the Arial
You may
font,
now use it.
so the Arial font have got successfully added to the table. Now let's see whether the Arial font is going to get reflected in this drop down or not. So the
Made the
Arial
required changes successfully.
okay, so the Arial font is getting reflected over here. Now let's set this Georgia font and see what is going to happen.
Added Georgia font successfully to the table.
So
You may now use it.
So the Georgia font has also got added to the table successfully. Let's see whether we'll be able to fetch it on this screen or not.
Made the required changes successfully.
So see, the Georgia font is also getting reflected over here. Let's add some more fonts on this screen. Let's add this third one.
Added Palatino font successfully to the table. You may now use it.
Okay.
Made the required changes successfully.
So the Palatino font is also getting reflected over here now. Let's add this Times font.
Added Times font successfully to the table. You may now use it. Made the required changes successfully.
Okay, so the Times font is also getting reflected now. Let's add one more font. Let's say Courier.
Added Courier font successfully to the table. You may now use it.
Okay, is it getting reflected over here in this drop down? Let's
Made
see.
the required changes successfully.
Okay, so the Courier font is also getting reflected over here. Now let's add some colors to this drop down. So for doing that, we need to come on this screen and let's add this green color. So we can add it just by clicking on this green part, green color, which is getting reflected on this image.
Added green color successfully to the table. You may now use it.
Okay, now let's check whether the green color is getting reflected in this drop down or not.
Made the required changes successfully.
Okay, so at present the green color is getting reflected here. Now let's add some more colors to this drop down.
Added yellow color successfully to the table. You may now use it. Made the required changes successfully. Made the required changes successfully.
Okay, as you can see, the yellow color is getting reflected on here on this background of this text area. Now let's add some more colors to this panel. Let's add this blue color.
Added blue color successfully to the table. You may now use it.
Okay, now let's add this red one also.
Added red color successfully to the table. You may now use it.
Okay, let's see whether we'll be able to fetch both the colors here in this
Made
drop
the
down or not.
required changes successfully.
So all four colors that we have added are getting reflected in this drop down. Okay, now let's see. Let's write down something in this message box and see whether it is going to get reflected over here or not. Let's write down. I'm writing down my name, Gaurav Kumar Jain. Okay, so it is getting reflected over here also. Now let's move this slider and see whether we'll be able to control the font size of this text which is getting reflected here in this text area or not. Okay, so I am able to control the font size of this text which is getting reflected over here. Okay, right now it is Arial font which in which this text is getting reflected. Can we change the font family of this text? Let's see.
Made the required changes successfully.
Let's select this times
Made the required changes successfully.
font family. So as you can see, the changes are getting reflected over here.
Made the required changes successfully.
It is
Made the
Palatino
required
font.
changes successfully.
Okay, now
Made the required
let's...
changes successfully. Made the required changes successfully.
Okay, so that's how you can make you can change the font family of this text. Now let's see whether we'll be able to change the background color
Made the
to
required changes
blue.
successfully. Made the required changes 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 successfully.
We are able to change the background color of this text area. Now let's see what is going to happen if I will slide it towards left side. So you can see certain change in this color, right? See, the same way if I will slide this one towards the right side, towards left side, you'll be able to see some changes happening in the background color of this text area. Similarly, if you'll slide it towards left side, you'll be able to see some changes again over here. Okay.
Made the required changes successfully. Made the required changes successfully.
So can we do it for this green color also? Let's check it out. Okay, so this is red and yeah, we are able to change the blue, green and red values for this color which is getting reflected in the background of this text area using these three sliders. Okay, so that's how this app works. Now let's check out the coding part. How can we code this beautiful app? How I have coded this beautiful app which I showed you. So here is the coding part, and coming on this coding section. So this is the first screen the user is going to come across. Now let me increase the screen size so that the code can be more visible to every one of you. And this is the code that I have defined for this sign-in screen. So when the user will hit this login button, if the text which he will enter here in these two components, if it is equal to colors, and the password in the password field also, if he will enter colors, automatically he's going to get redirected on this color screen. This is the screen on which he's going to get redirected to. Similarly, if he will enter, just a second, if he will enter family in this email part and pass family in this password field, he is going to get redirected on this family screen where he can select the font family. Fine. So it's like a 2 or 3 player game, you can say. So one person needs to select the one person is required to add the font families options. One person is required to add the colors option, and the third one is going to play with the main panel. Now, if the person wants to access this main screen, this main panel, what he has to do, he has to enter main in the email field and main in the password field. So automatically he's going to get redirected on this main screen. Okay, this is the code which I have defined for uh, these label boxes I have placed over here. So it's for this Arial font. When the user will hit this Arial font, okay, or you can say Arial label box, a table with name fonts is going to get created where this font is going to get saved. Let me just show you that fonts table. So a table like this is going to get created on the data browser where this font is going to get saved. Likewise, when he will click on this Georgia, the same thing is going to happen. This font Georgia is going to get saved in this table. With Palatino also, the same thing is going to happen. And with the rest 2 Times and Courier, the same thing is going to happen with all these label boxes I've defined over here. Fine. So this is the code which is going to get executed when the user will hit this Palatino option. When the user will hit this times option, this is the code which is going to get executed. And last but not the least, when the user will hit this courier option, this is the code which is going to get executed. Fine. Now let's come on this drop down 1 coding. So this is the first drop down. In order to pull the records, in order to pull the names of the font families from this fonts table, what we are going to do, we can define an event block for this drop down 1. So when the user will hit this drop down 1, the records are going to get pulled up from this fonts table. Okay, and we have made use of a list item over here. Of a collection over here. So there is a list variable I have defined. Now all the items which are saved inside this fonts table, they are going to get pulled up through this code, and all the names are going to get saved in the form of items into this font item list. Okay, so this is the code I have made use of for doing the same. Now last but not the least is this set property block I have defined after this for loop in order to set the options for this drop down 1. Okay, and now let's come on this code of green. Now when the user will select, just a second. Now let's talk about this code which is going to get executed when the user will hit this drop down 2. See, the way a user can add the names of the font families, in the same way a user can add the name of the colors also. So when the user will hit this green color label I have placed over here, this is the code which is going to get executed. So a table with name colors is going to get created on the data browser in which the name of this green color is going to get saved. Let me show you that table named colors. So this is how a table will get created, and names of all the colors are going to get saved in this table. Green, yellow, blue, red. So they are coming from this code which I've defined over here. So when the user will, if the user will hit this green label, named label, this code is going to get executed. if the user will hit this yellow color label which I've placed on this image over here, this code is going to get executed. If the user will hit this blue color label, this code is going to get executed. And similarly, if he will hit this red color option, this code is going to get executed. So that's how a table with name colors is going to get created, where all the names of the colors are going to get stored. Fine. Now let's talk about this drop down tool which I have got on this main screen. This is the one. When the user will hit this drop down tool, records are going to get pulled up from the colors table the way they were getting pulled up from the font table from this for this drop down one. Okay, and I have defined a list variable over here in which all the items, all the names of all the colors are going to get saved in the form of items. Okay, and with the help of this set property block, all the items will get appended to this drop down too. Okay, as an options, like options. Fine. Now let's come on this message box. This is the code which is going to get executed when the user will write down something here in this message box. So whatever he will write down here with the help of this set property block, it is going to get reflected on this writing pad also. Fine. And this is the block which I have defined over here for this font size slider. So with the help of this code, I can control the font size of the text which is going to get reflected here in this writing part. Similarly, with the help of this red slider which I have defined over here, I can control the red part of the background color which is going to get reflected over here in this text area. Similarly, this is the code for this green slider with which I can control the green portion of the color of the background color of this text area, and this is for the blue slider for controlling the blue part of the background color of this text area. So this is the whole code I have made use of for coding this beautiful app. Hope you enjoyed this lecture a lot. Please do like and subscribe to my channel, and also share the link of this app, link of this video with your colleagues so that they can also come on my channel and learn coding free of cost. Thank you very much. God bless you, and namaste, and have a great day. Bye bye.